From Wi-Fi in the parks to price increases on top of price increases, there are a few things that Disney just hasn't quite gotten the hang of yet. So we're going to talk about those today on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now you guys know I love Disney. I've dedicated my career to it. We think Disney is fantastic, but there are a few things that they could really improve on. A few things they're not quite getting right over and over and over again. We're going to talk about those today, and we want to hear what you guys think. So please let us know in the comments your responses to the things we think Disney could really improve, or maybe just try a little harder to get right. First up, we're going to talk about Wi-Fi in the parks. Now, if you guys have been at Disney World and tried to use the Wi-Fi recently, let us know in the comments what you've experienced, because our team tends to experience glitches upon glitches upon glitches. So the Wi-Fi in the parks has always been pretty bad, but it's not getting any better. We're a little concerned about that with Galaxy's Edge coming up. It's great that Disney has free Wi-Fi for everyone in the parks, but since it's not reliable enough to count on, you need a plan just in case. Make sure your family has a dedicated meetup location and time if you happen to split up, just in case you're not able to touch base, and consider bringing a hotspot along with you if there's anything critical you need reliable Wi-Fi for. Next thing we think Disney could really do a lot better, price increases on top of price increases. Yeah, Disney's expensive and it keeps getting more expensive, and we get it. Price hikes happen everywhere. But last fall, Disney hit us with a double whammy, and it really didn't seem like they were trying to mitigate that at all. On October 2nd, 2018, Disney raised prices on food and beverages across the parks, both coasts, in the biggest price hike we've seen in years. Bottled soda jumped from $3.50 to $4.50, and turkey legs, which previously sold for $11.75, jumped up to $13.25. And this was property-wide, you guys. We saw this on just about every food and beverage item around the parks. And shockingly, they even increased prices on Food and Wine Festival items in the middle of the Food and Wine Festival. And then on October 16th, Disney World rolled out its new date-based ticketing system, which, along with being super confusing at first, meant that ticket prices for most dates jumped up as well. Now, as Disney was quick to point out, dates during the value season actually came out a bit cheaper with the new date-based system, which is great if you're able to take a vacation in January or the middle of September. But if you're headed to the parks during busier seasons due to working around a school or work calendar, you're going to be paying more. Now, ticket prices increase yearly, so it's not a shock to have those ticket prices increase, but to have these two huge changes back to back was kind of poor planning and left a lot of people feeling like Disney was just out to get their money. So what can you do to save some cash when you know Disney's prices are going to keep going up? First, if you can go to Disney World during a less expensive season, do that. It will mean lower prices on hotels and tickets for sure. But if you can't, then be sure to look for those discounts on the special offers tab at disneyworld.com. Consider bringing some of your own food into the parks to save money on meals, and take a peek at our discounts videos to see other ways to keep your costs down in Disney World. Don't leave the money on the table if you don't have to. The next thing Disney really could do a lot better is communication. Now, other big companies do a great job of engaging with their customer base. For example, Southwest Airlines regularly interacts with customers via social media, and that's become crucial to their brand identity. But Disney is kind of operating under the man behind the curtain concept. They don't do a great job of being available to the consumer. And Disney could be criticized for not being all that transparent to their guests about why certain decisions are being made or how guests can register their opinions about those decisions. Now, guest services cast members are usually fantastic, but having cast members who try to answer your questions isn't the same as being transparent as a company. We get questions all the time about how guests can register complaints or simply ask questions and be heard by Disney, and our only option is to direct those readers and viewers to various phone numbers and email addresses. And it's not always clear which phone numbers and addresses to use in which situations. For example, when I left my phone in a minivan, it took my husband and me about an hour to figure out the right phone number to call to get it back. And another issue you may face is that many Disney World phone numbers just direct you back to the main line or put you into the main hold queue, which means you could be waiting anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour or more to find out that you called the wrong number for what you need. Now, how do you get around this issue? Well, when it comes to Disney being a transparent company, we don't have a fix for that. But if you do need to register a complaint or ask Disney a question, you'll want to look at the Help Center on the Disney World website. If you're an annual pass holder, call the AP line. If you're a DVC member, call the DVC line. Otherwise, choose the number that best fits your concern. You can also choose to send an email or chat live with a cast member on this page. Next thing Disney doesn't really do the best at is menu variety in the restaurants. Disney plays it really safe with their dining options. They make sure to really put on the menu what's gonna sell. So you don't really have a lot of unique or adventurous items on the menus, and even the adventurous stuff isn't all that unique. So many of the menus are predictable and similar, and you're gonna find a chicken dish, a steak dish, a fish dish, and a pasta dish on pretty much every single menu. Now Disney bulk orders a lot, so you'll also see repetitive sides and brands on many of the menus around property. And we'd love to see some more variety in the food offered. For example, there are some really popular food trends, fondue, Korean barbecue, things like that Disney sort of missed the boat on. And we'd love to see some more of those unique food items in Disney World and on Disney menus. That'd be a lot of fun. Speaking of trends, another thing Disney can't really get a handle on is trends. They always want to jump on the bandwagon for trends, but they're usually pretty late to them. I remember saying this first when the Cronut came to Disney about 4 years after Dominique Ansel made it a huge trend. And since then, we've seen Disney jump on trend bandwagons predictably late every single time. One good example, rose gold, really became a thing in fall 2015 when Apple released a rose gold iPhone. Now this trend has stayed around for years, but Disney didn't pick up on it until the end of 2017 when they dropped those rose gold ears, which were followed up by the rose gold eared cupcake in January 2018. And 2009 was the year of build your own bowl concepts like Chipotle, but Disney didn't really jump on that trend until 2017 when Satuli Canteen opened in Pandora and brought customizable bowls to the parks. So Disney will eventually get to the trends, it just takes them a long time to get to them, so we'd love to see them jump on those trends a little bit earlier. Next thing Disney has never truly gotten right, in our opinion, is Hollywood Studios. Bless its heart. This park has never really come into its own, so Magic Kingdom, Epcot, even Animal Kingdom all have a personality and icons that identify them. But Hollywood Studios lost its water tower and its iconic Sorcerer Mickey hat, which was a love it or hate it icon in the first place. So Hollywood Studios basically exists because Disney found out Universal Studios was going to open and started a mad dash to open a movie-themed park first, which they did. Originally, Hollywood Studios had a functional animation studio within the park, and films like Lilo and Stitch and Mulan were animated right there, and guests could watch it happening, which was so cool. But in 2003, the magic of Disney Animation closed to make way for new attractions, and the Florida division of Disney Feature Animation was shut down, taking away the most unique aspect of the park. And once the Great Movie Ride and Studio Backlot Tour closed, we lost pretty much any tie to the original idea of that magic behind movie making concept, which could have made Hollywood Studios a park greater than the sum of its parts. Don't get me wrong, Toy Story Land is absolutely adorable and I can't wait for Galaxy's Edge, but I'm worried that that's all Hollywood Studios will be, is the place that has Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge. And we've seen Disney move towards just creating movie-based lands rather than conceptual ideas that incorporate lots of different things. So now some of these parks are just becoming a loose theme that ties lots of rides and movie-based lands together. We're sort of seeing that in Disney California Adventure too. Originally it highlighted California. No, it wasn't a really strong theme, but now it is a park full of movie-based lands and attractions. So the park doesn't really have a full identity. So California Adventure is the park with Pixar Pier, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Cars Land. It doesn't really have a cohesive theme anymore. And that's the direction we're starting to see Hollywood Studios go. So maybe that's just what Disney wants to do, is have parks without a cohesive theme, but I think the studios could have been so much more. Next thing Disney doesn't quite get right is check-in time and late checkout for their hotels. Official check-in time at Disney World Resorts is 3 p.m., but that little section on your online check-in that lets you mark down when you're arriving seems like you might be able to snag an early check-in, right? Well, we've rarely experienced that, and we know there's so many rooms at Disney and lots of turnover, so we can understand it takes a long time to get those rooms ready for the next guest. You're spending a lot of money on those rooms, so they really should be ready for check-in when stated. And while we get that difficult situations arise and things can happen, the proportion of times that the room isn't ready at 3 p.m. is a little more often than we'd like. So what can you do if your room isn't ready or might not be ready? Pack those bathing suits in your carry-ons to spend time by the pool while you're waiting for your room, or leave your bags with bell services and head out into the parks. Have a plan just in case your room is a little delayed. Also, late checkouts are practically unheard of in Disney World. You have to call call late the night before, mention a time you'd like the late checkout, and you might get it. If they don't have that time available, you don't get another shot. It's very weird. Swan and Dolphin offer their guests the option to pay a little extra for late checkout, and that's something Disney resorts surprisingly haven't taken advantage of. And finally, the last thing that Disney's just not really getting right is the homogenization situation. Everything seems to be very similar, from rides to merchandise to menus. We're seeing a lot of the same stuff over and over again, not just in Disney World, but across all of the Disney parks. And while it's definitely an efficient use of resources and money for Disney, it kind of takes away from what makes each store, restaurant, and park something special. Now, you guys know the World of Disney stores on both coasts look exactly the same now, down to the little detail work, and you'll find the same merch at many of the stores throughout Disney World and Disneyland. Disney rides and lands are also getting repeated at a lot of the parks. You'll find Toy Story Land in Disney World, Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. The Tron coaster from Shanghai is coming to Magic Kingdom. Frozen Ever After is headed to Disneyland Paris. The Remy ride is coming from Paris to Epcot. So you're seeing a lot of the same things in several Disney parks around the world. And sure, not everyone's trying to visit all 6 Disney resorts around the world, and some rides are different in each park, but there's something kind of disappointing about the same thing being in so many places. It reduces the sense of exploration and discovery, which is usually something I associate with trips to Disney parks. Now, thank goodness for the Epcot World Showcase pavilions, where you can do some truly unique shopping. Mitsukoshi Department Store in Japan is a great example. There are some great unique items for purchase there, like kimonos, fun food items, and other souvenirs that you're not going to find anywhere else in Disney World. And the same goes for the shops in Norway, Italy, China, Morocco, and the other World Showcase pavilions. It's a breath of fresh air after seeing the same thing in every other store. And finally, the last thing we want to mention in this video is mobile order. Now, you know we love mobile order in Disney World, which offers guests a way to order and pay for counter service meals on the My Disney Experience app while bypassing the long standby lines. But the one thing we keep waiting for is Disney adding the option to apply discounts when paying for your order. While guests currently can apply their Disney dining plan to the order, those of us who are annual pass holders or Disney Vacation Club members cannot apply our food discounts to the payment, which means that in order to get that discount applied, we have to stand in the long standby line. So we currently have to choose between saving time and saving money. And I'm hoping that won't be the case for long, as Disneyland has added the option to add an annual pass discount during mobile order already, so hopefully Disney World will get on the bus for that one. So there are a few of the things that we think Disney could really improve on and really change for the positive. A few things that have kind of been bugging us, because you guys know we love Disney and we want them to be the best brand they can be. So these are a few things that have just been bugging us about our favorite place. So let us know in the comments what you guys think. Do you agree with these assessments? Do you think there are ways they can change? How would you change these particular issues? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for watching. This is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.